Hey, what's up? The patch itself isn't flashy or stuffed with new gameplay systems. Instead, it's the kind of behind-the-scenes work that makes long Dynasty runs and online sessions less nerve-wracking, and the community has already started finding the tangible improvements in stability and fewer hard crashes. One of the bigger things people notice right away is that this update contains a huge number of backend fixes that target crash sources and save corruption. The kinds of problems that made folks hesitant to pour dozens of hours into Dynasty because a corrupted save could wipe out progress. Dev teams often prioritize this kind of housekeeping after launch because nothing kills momentum like losing an hours-long season to a freeze, and players are reporting fewer of those nasty mid-game freezes since applying the patch. That focus on reliability is specifically called out in the patch summaries and community write-ups. Aside from the stability and crash work, the update addresses a number of player-facing bugs that have been nagging the community. Things like field pass objectives not tracking properly, Dynasty mode saves and team builder failing to persist, and weird penalty or lag issues in certain scenarios were on the bug radar, and several of those issues are listed as fixed or improved in early reports from reliable community sources. If you've had a challenge where objectives didn't advance or your Dynasty save didn't update after a session, that's exactly the sort of thing this patch aims to correct. There are also broader online stability and performance improvements baked into the update, which is always welcome for anyone who plays Ultimate Team, matchmaking, or any head-to-head modes. Online stability patches are rarely glamorous, but when they work, they make the entire experience feel smoother. Fewer disconnects, better match continuity, and fewer incidents of penalties or actions lagging out mid-play. The community notice boards and forums have been cataloging anecdotal improvements in connection stability since the patch landed. Another interesting note in some of the reports is that the patch appears to have added a significant volume of roster updates. Some write-ups mention the addition of more than 1,000 players, which is consistent with EA's ongoing content refreshes to keep rosters current and add new names into modes like Dynasty and Team Creator. That's the sort of thing that doesn't change core mechanics but makes rosters feel more alive and cuts down the manual work of importing community-created players. If you're obsessive about roster accuracy, that's a quality of life win. On the gameplay front, while this specific update doesn't overhaul fundamental mechanics or introduce brand new features, it does carry a stack of smaller fixes and tweaks that together change the daily play experience. If previous title updates earlier in the release cycle adjusted things like pass rush engagement, containment on scramble plays, and coverage behavior, and while those larger gameplay changes came in earlier patches, this release continues the trend of fine-tuning and squashing edge case bugs that lead to strange outcomes, like scoring overflows, odd penalty behavior, or special teams timing glitches. Several outlets cataloged these earlier gameplay adjustments and noted how the dev team is iterating week to week based on community feedback. The size of the download varies by platform, but players on consoles reported a relatively modest download footprint for this hotfix compared to full content updates. The goal here was clearly to patch stability and server-side behaviors without forcing a massive reinstall. As with any title update, patch size and install behavior can differ by region and platform. So if you start the download and it looks larger or smaller than expected, that's usually down to platform-specific packaging. It's worth saying that EE didn't publish a super detailed official breakdown for every single one of the minor fixes in a consumer-friendly post for this one. A lot of the notes we're repeating come from community data mines, trusted patch reporting sites, and forum findings where players and content creators pull together the full picture. When the developer doesn't release an exhaustive list, communities tend to step in to identify the exact conditions that were addressed, and that collaborative patch note reconstruction is how we often learn about the edge case fixes. For folks who've been holding off on long Dynasty seasons or were frustrated with random disconnects during ranked play, this patch should feel like a steadying hand, the kind of update that quietly restores confidence in sinking time into long-term modes. And even though it's not adding new playbooks or presentation upgrades right now, the reduction in crashes and improved save stability are the foundations that enable future content and features to land without players worrying their progress will be lost. Overall, the update reads like a pragmatic response to community pain points. Stabilize the game, protect saves, and iron out objective tracking and online inconsistencies so people can enjoy seasons and competitive sessions without constant interruptions. That kind of incremental improvement might not headline a stream, but it's exactly the thing that keeps the experience feeling polished for the long run. If you've played after the patch, you'll probably notice fewer instances of the most disruptive bugs. If you haven't yet, when you load in, you might find Dynasty runs behave more predictably and online sessions are more stable. This update continues the steady cadence of fixes and refinements we've seen since launch, and while the dev team still has work to do to address every remaining quirk, this one is a meaningful step toward making long-term play reliable again.